Somewhere beneath the Zagros Mountains of Iran, sealed inside chambers bored through solid rock, a program that could change the balance of power in the world's most volatile region is quietly running. Iran says it is peaceful. Much of the world disagrees. And the United States Air Force has a bomb, the largest conventional bomb ever built, that it says can reach those chambers. But here is the question that keeps generals, politicians, and intelligence analysts awake at night. What if the bomb isn't enough?
Iran's nuclear program did not begin in secrecy. It began with American help. In 1957, under the U.S. Atoms for Peace initiative, Washington helped Tehran build its first research reactor. The Shah of Iran was a close ally. Nuclear technology was a gift of modernization. Then, 1979 happened. The Islamic Revolution, the hostage crisis, and a severing of relations that has never truly healed. Iran kept the nuclear infrastructure, and over the following decades, through sanctions, assassinations of scientists, and a covert sabotage campaign using a computer worm called Stuxnet, it quietly advanced its capabilities. By the early 2000s, the world learned something that changed everything. Iran was not just running civilian reactors. It was enriching uranium, and it had built facilities to do it in secret, underground, where no one could easily reach them. Two sites became the focus of the world's attention. First, Natanz, Iran's primary enrichment facility in the Isfahan province, built largely underground, beneath several meters of reinforced concrete and home to tens of thousands of spinning centrifuges. Second, and more troubling to Western intelligence agencies, Fordow. Fordow was not discovered by inspection. It was discovered by spy satellites. Built entirely beneath a mountain, inside the mountain, near the city of Qom, it was revealed in 2009 when President Obama, alongside the leaders of France and Britain, made a dramatic public announcement. Fordow was built to survive, deliberately, with one specific threat in mind: American and Israeli airstrikes. The Iranians had watched what happened to Iraq's Osirak reactor in 1981, when Israeli F-16 destroyed it in a single raid. They had watched what happened to Syria's Al-Kibar reactor in 2007. They studied those lessons and they dug deeper. To understand whether these facilities can be destroyed, you first have to understand what was built. Natanz sits beneath roughly 8 meters, around 26 feet, of reinforced concrete, itself buried under approximately 8 meters of earth. That alone would defeat most conventional bombs. But Fordow is a different category entirely. It is not buried under earth. It is inside a mountain. Intelligence estimates vary, but analysts at the Federation of American Scientists and the Institute for Science and International Security have placed the facility at somewhere between 80 and 100 meters, roughly 260 to 330 feet, beneath the surface of solid granite-like rock tension. That is not a hardened bunker, that is a geological fortress. The tunnels leading into Fordow are reinforced, featuring multiple blast doors rated to withstand overpressure from nearby nuclear detonations. The facility is designed to operate independently of its own power supply, its own ventilation, its own backup systems for extended periods after a surface attack. Iran's engineers did not simply dig a hole and put centrifuges in it. They built a survivable, redundant, self-sustaining underground city of enrichment. And then they put a mountain on top of it. The United States knew this problem was coming. For years, Pentagon planners had wrestled with the same challenge. Conventional bombs were not designed to reach targets buried this deep. The answer was the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP. It is a weapon of extraordinary engineering, 15 feet long, 2.5 feet in diameter, weighing in at nearly 30,000 pounds, that is 13,600 kilograms. It is the largest non-nuclear bomb ever produced by the United States. Pause. But what makes it remarkable is not its weight, it is what it can do after release. Dropped from a B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, the only aircraft capable of carrying it 2 at a time, the GBU-57 uses GPS guidance to find its target with extraordinary precision. It then uses its mass and aerodynamic hardened steel casing to drive itself into the earth before detonating its 5,300-pound explosive warhead. The official Air Force claim is that the GBU-57 can penetrate up to 60 meters of earth. or around 8 meters of reinforced concrete before detonating. That is, by any measure, an astonishing achievement of weapons engineering. Tension. But 60 meters is not 80 meters. And soil is not granite. And this is where the math becomes uncomfortable. Rock slows penetration dramatically compared to soil. Dense, consolidated rock like the geology around Fordow can reduce penetration depth by 40 to 60%, according to weapons physics studies, meaning a bomb rated to penetrate 60 meters of Earth might only reach 24 to 36 meters in comparable hard rock conditions. That would leave the primary centrifuge halls at Fordow untouched, damaged perhaps, shaken but not destroyed. Quiet. The Iranians built the facility at that depth precisely because they had done this math too. To compensate, military planners have proposed what they call a sequential strike approach. Drop multiple GBU-57s in rapid succession onto the exact same GPS coordinate, so each bomb follows the tunnel excavated by the one before it, drilling progressively deeper into the rock. Testing has reportedly demonstrated this technique. But the effectiveness remains classified, and outside analysts remain deeply skeptical. Each successive bomb must survive its own deceleration and the shock of the previous detonation, follow the precise trajectory of the crater left behind, and not detonate prematurely on debris. Pause. In theory, it works. In practice, it has never been tested on a target like Fordow under combat conditions against a facility designed from its foundations to defeat it. Military history is littered with the wreckage of optimistic theories about what air power can achieve. In World War II, the Allied strategic bombing campaign was supposed to collapse Germany's industrial will. It caused enormous destruction, and Germany's war production actually increased in 1944. In Kosovo in 1999, NATO's air campaign lasted 78 days before Serbia's Milosevic agreed to withdraw, far longer than initially projected, against a much smaller and less prepared adversary. In Iraq in 2003, even with total air dominance, dispersed command structures and buried infrastructure proved remarkably resilient to air assault. Tension air power is a blunt instrument of extraordinary power, but it cannot guarantee the destruction of a specific target buried under a mountain in a country the size of Alaska, operated by an adversary who has spent decades studying how to defeat exactly this threat. There is also the question of getting there. Iran has one of the most sophisticated air defense networks in the Middle East. It operates Russian S-300 missile systems, among the most capable surface-to-air missiles in existence. It has layered radar coverage, and its geographic depth means that strike aircraft must transit significant distances through defended airspace. The B-2, with its radar-absorbing stealth coating, is the only American aircraft currently capable of carrying the GBU-57. The Air Force operates just 20 B-2s in its entire fleet. They are based at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, a 30-plus-hour round trip to Iran, requiring multiple aerial refueling connections. A strike on Iran's nuclear facilities would be one of the most complex and high-risk air operations in American military history. Let us assume for a moment that a strike works, that the GBU-57s penetrate deep enough, that the centrifuge halls at Fordow are destroyed, that Natanz. What happens the day after? Iran's leadership would face a choice. They could absorb the blow and negotiate, as Libya's Gaddafi eventually chose to after the invasion of Iraq made the cost of nuclear ambition appear too high, or they could respond. And Iran has many ways to respond. It can close the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway through which roughly 20% of all seaborne oil transits daily. A disruption there would send global oil prices surging overnight, with consequences for every economy on Earth. It can activate Hezbollah in Lebanon, launching thousands of rockets at Israel. It can order Houthi forces in Yemen to strike Red Sea shipping. It can unleash proxy militias across Iraq and Syria against American bases. A strike on Iran's nuclear facilities would not end the crisis. It would transform it. There is a deeper strategic problem. Even a perfectly successful strike sets back Iran's program. It does not end it. Estimates from U.S. intelligence and independent analysts suggest a successful strike could delay the program by 2 to 5 years. Not eliminate it, delay it. Iran retains its knowledge, its engineers, its uranium stockpiles dispersed across the country, and its political will. A country humiliated by an airstrike, with its population rallying around the flag, may pursue nuclear capability with even greater determination afterward. The historical precedent is uncomfortable. Iraq, after Israel destroyed Osirak in 1981, quietly accelerated its nuclear program in the aftermath. The mountain was there long before the bomb was invented, and if the history of this region teaches us anything, It will be there long after the last warplane has turned for home. The question is not just whether America can destroy these bunkers. The question is what kind of world is built or broken in the attempt. That's all. Thanks for watching.